Welcome to our Quantum Deep Dive.
It's probably one of the biggest, oldest questions we can possibly ask, right? For centuries, we've looked up, through telescopes, to see the grandest structures out there in the cosmos. But to get to the heart of what everything is actually made of, we have to look in the complete opposite direction. Down, to the impossibly, infinitesimally small.
Exactly. I mean, you can't just put a piece of reality under a normal microscope and expect to see its secrets. Nope. To actually see what's happening in the quantum realm, we had to invent a totally new kind of tool, these absolutely massive machines called particle accelerators. They literally smash particles together just to see what's inside.
And the next great leap forward in this incredible quest could be something called the Global Linear Collider, or GLC for short. So today, that's what we're diving into, this global vision, all based on a really extensive essay by Jörg O. H. Nepat. We're going to break down why we even need it, how it's supposed to work, and what it could mean for, well, all of us.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to start with the why. Why do we need a new machine at all? That's the next great question. Then we'll get into what makes the GLC a totally different beast from other colliders. After that, we'll go inside this amazing machine, then talk about what it's actually looking for, hunting for new physics. And finally, we'll zoom out and see what it means to build this thing as a project for the entire world. Okay, so let's start right at the edge of what we currently know. A good way to think about it is that all of our knowledge about fundamental physics is like an ancient map. You know, some parts are incredibly detailed, but then there are these huge blank areas with a little note saying, "Here be dragons." And our current map? It's called the Standard Model of Particle Physics. And honestly, it is one of the most successful theories in the history of science. It beautifully describes the 17 known fundamental particles, you know, things like quarks, electrons, and the famous Higgs boson, and the forces that tell them how to interact. It's a truly monumental achievement.
And it's not like we just guessed all this. This map was drawn bit by bit over decades of hard work with earlier accelerators. You had the Stanford Linear Accelerator, or SLAC, kicking things off back in the 60s, then CERN's Large Hadron Collider confirming major predictions, and of course, the big one, the LHC, finding that final missing piece of the puzzle in 2012, the Higgs boson.
But here is the massive catch. For all its incredible success, the Standard Model just stops. It leaves some of the absolute biggest questions totally unanswered. It tells us nothing about dark matter, which makes up about 27% of the universe. It doesn't explain why the Higgs boson has the mass it does, or if these really elegant ideas like supersymmetry are real. These aren't just minor details. They're like giant, gaping holes in our understanding of everything.
Right, and that's the key takeaway here. To go exploring in these unknown lands, we can't just build a bigger, better version of the tools we already have. We need a totally new kind of instrument, one that's designed not just for raw power, but for incredibly fine, surgical precision. We need a brand new kind of map maker.
And that, of course, brings us to the Global Linear Collider. It is designed from the very beginning to be that new instrument. And the biggest clue to its innovation is right there in the name. It's linear. It's a straight line.
Okay, so this comparison is really at the heart of it all. The LHC at CERN is a circle. It takes protons, which are messy, complicated bags of other particles, and smashes them into each other. It's like throwing two pianos together to see how a single key works. It's brute force, it's chaotic, and it's fantastic for discovering brand new, heavy things. But the GLC? It's completely different. It's a straight shot. It collides one clean fundamental particle, an electron, with its antimatter twin, a positron. It's a single, pristine collision. This isn't about brute force anymore. This is all about surgical precision.
So you might be wondering, well, why not just build a big circle for electrons? And the answer is this pesky bit of physics called synchrotron radiation. Basically, anytime you force a charged particle to turn a corner, it radiates away energy in the form of light. It's like trying to run around a sharp corner on ice. You're going to lose a ton of energy just trying not to fly off in a straight line.
And this formula, which looks a bit scary, tells the whole story. Don't worry about all the letters, just look at the m for mass, sitting there in the denominator, and it's raised to the fourth power. Now, an electron is almost 2,000 times lighter than a proton. So when you do the math, an electron loses literally trillions of times more energy than a proton does going around the same curve. It just becomes hopelessly inefficient. You're basically building the world's most expensive light bulb.
So a linear collider just sidesteps the whole problem. No curves means no energy lost to synchrotron radiation. Simple as that.
And this lets you push those lightweight electrons to incredibly high energies with amazing efficiency, giving you that perfect, clean collision you need for precision measurements.
Okay, so we've established why it needs to be a straight line. Now let's actually go inside this machine, because the level of engineering we're talking about here is, well, it's just mind-blowing.
Let's just follow a particle on its crazy journey. It all starts at step 1, where beams of electrons and positrons are created. Then in step 2, they get sent to these damping rings, which cool them down and squeeze them into unbelievably tight little bunches. Step 3 is the main show. They're fired into 2 opposing accelerators and blasted towards each other at nearly the speed of light. And then, for the grand finale, steps 4 and 5. Right before they meet, insanely powerful magnets squeeze those beams down to a microscopic point. They collide, and for a fleeting moment, create a tiny fireball of pure energy where new particles can pop into existence.
And when we say accelerator, we're not talking about something that fits in a room. To get these particles moving fast enough, each of those 2 accelerators has to be around 16 kilometers long. That's a total of more than 30 kilometers. We're talking 20 miles, all built deep underground in a tunnel to keep it stable from even the tiniest vibrations.
Now, to make all this work efficiently, the machine has to be cold, and I don't mean just a little chilly. The core components are cooled down to just 2 degrees above absolute zero. That is colder than the blackness of deep space. At that insane temperature, these cavities, which are made of ultra-pure niobium, become superconducting. What that means is electricity flows through them with literally zero resistance, zero energy loss. So the huge electromagnetic fields you need to kick the particles forward can be created with incredible efficiency. It's a true marvel of materials science and cryogenics.
Okay, but for me, this number is the one that really just breaks my brain. So after you fire these 2 beams from 16 kilometers away, you have to focus them so they hit a target that is about 5 nanometers tall. A nanometer is a billionth of a meter. That's like the width of 20 atoms. Imagine trying to get 2 needles fired from 10 miles away to hit each other perfectly on their points. It's an engineering challenge that is almost impossible to wrap your head around.
So we've got this absolutely incredible machine, a true pinnacle of human engineering. But why? What are we going to do with it? Let's get back to the whole point of this thing, the scientific mission, the hunt for new physics.
Well, its #1 job is to be a Higgs factory. Think of it this way. The LHC discovered the Higgs boson. That was like finding a totally new, never-before-seen animal out in the wild. The GLC's job is to capture millions of them, bring them into the lab, and study every single aspect of their behavior in excruciating detail.
And this chart shows you exactly why the GLC is the perfect tool for that job. Like we said, proton collisions at the LHC are messy. For every one interesting event, you get millions of other particles flying around that you don't care about. It's a ton of background noise. But the electron-positron collisions, they are incredibly clean. You know exactly what went in, so whatever comes out is directly tied to the new physics you're trying to study. The signal is crystal clear.
And because it's so clean, you can achieve unbelievable precision. We're talking about measuring the properties of the Higgs, its mass, how it talks to other particles, to a precision of 1%, maybe even better. And that is the ultimate test. Does it behave exactly the way the standard model says it should? Any tiny, tiny deviation would be like finding a crack in the foundation of our theory, a signpost pointing us toward brand new physics.
And it's not just about the Higgs, not by a long shot. That level of precision opens up all sorts of new possibilities. It's the perfect machine to hunt for the telltale signs of supersymmetry or to create particles that might actually be dark matter. It could even find evidence for hidden extra dimensions of space just by spotting tiny wobbles in how particles behave. It's basically a complete, top-to-bottom physical exam for our entire theory of reality.
Okay, so the science is there, the technology is within reach, but to build something this huge, this ambitious, you need more than just smart physicists. It really demands a whole new level of global teamwork.
Yeah, there's just no way one country could do this alone. It's way too big, way too expensive. This requires a true global partnership. You're talking about the major labs from Japan, all across Europe with places like CERN and DAISY, and the US with SLAC, all throwing their best people, their resources, and their expertise into one pot. It really is a model for science without borders.
And the numbers involved are just staggering. The cost is somewhere in the ballpark of $8 to $10 billion. Construction alone would take about a decade, with the whole thing hopefully up and running around 2040.
And right now, the leading candidate to actually host this amazing facility is in the Kitakami Mountains in Japan, which was chosen for its super stable geology.
But here's the thing. The payoff for that investment goes way beyond just particle physics. The challenge of building the GLC will spark innovation in tons of other fields. You'll see breakthroughs in superconductors, new medical imaging techniques, ultra-precise manufacturing, big data, AI, the list goes on. Plus, it will train a whole new generation of brilliant scientists and engineers and set a new gold standard for how we do open, collaborative science on a global scale.
And this is just a really powerful way to look at it all. The source essay puts it perfectly, framing the GLC not just as another physics experiment, but as a bridge to a whole new age of technology, a pioneer project where our mastery of giant, classical engineering meets the incredibly delicate control of the quantum world.
And in the end, that's what it all comes down to. It is a monumental challenge, something that will take a generation to achieve, but it's all driven by that deep, fundamental human curiosity to finally complete our map of reality. If we actually build this thing, what incredible new continents, what strange new lands will we finally be able to see?
It's a project that really pushes the absolute limits of science and human collaboration. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive, which was all based on the fantastic and comprehensive work of Jörg Owe Schnappert.
It is such a cool topic, and if you want to get into even more of the technical nitty-gritty, we really recommend you visit his website. It's schnappert.de.
Thanks for joining us.
Schnappert.de is a private project by Jörg Owe Schnappert dedicated to promoting quantum technology. Its mission is to present knowledge in a way that is clear, precise, and transparent for those just starting out, as well as for experts who wish to deepen their expertise. He firmly believes that education and access to well-structured information are the keys to unlocking the full potential of this future technology. If his work helps you realize your own visions and actively and consciously shape quantum technology, then the goal of his project has been achieved.